Hi guys, it's Samuel Larsen here, and I wanted to quickly share with you a model that you can use to both analyze your conversions, but also to increase them. So this one is actually one of my favorite models because it is so easy to understand, but not only is it easy to understand, it's also instantly applicable. So models are best when they're simple, but even though there's many models and you can pretty much model everything, but there is still no perfect single model that would cover the entire world. So remember that as good as a map can be, the map is still not a territory. So treat it as a model, but it is a good model nevertheless. So problem with models usually is that they are just tools to simplify complicated things. However, this one takes the overall approach pretty well, so that's why I'm sharing with you this one particular. So all credit goes to Wider Funnel. This is the so-called lift model, and it's not something I came up with, so not taking the credit there at all. But the whole idea in this model is that it is centered around the value proposition here. So you can notice these two icons here. This is the start and it's the stop. And what this means that your value proposition is actually in the center of everything regarding conversion optimization. Now, it is a promise of value being delivered. So think of it as an offer. And as an offer, it is the reason a prospect should buy from you. So a value proposition forms the so-called body of the model. And without this, it doesn't really work. So there needs to be a lift created. Now, you can see on the outer skirts with everything else that there is relevance, clarity, anxiety, and distraction, urgency. All are affecting this. So they can take your value proposition, and if these are really big, they can take it down instantly. Also, these can boost it a nice lift to it. But it is your value proposition that makes or breaks you. So let's break this down a little bit more. So here we have a relevance. Now, relevance is connected to the value proposition, but it is not quite the same thing. And what I mean by this is value proposition is the core offer, and relevance is really all the content and everything on the page that talks to the customer, making it relevant to that single audience. So relevance starts right away when people hit the page. And relevance is also how you communicate your value proposition. So we can still increase relevance without changing our value proposition. Now, there's really two ways to increase relevance for your customers. Now, the first way is to do changes on the page. So you have certain traffic coming in, and you basically match your offering to that traffic. Now, the second thing, and the thing that most people are not so concerned or like pretty much overlooked, is to actually match the traffic to the relevance. So either change the relevance or change the traffic. Now, all the traffic guys are trying to change the traffic, and all the website guys are trying to change the relevance. But then you can combine these two in harmony, and you can create amazing results for yourself. All right, that's the relevance part. Now, clarity over here. Now, it has to be absolutely clear what you're selling. And not only should it be clear what your value proposition is, what you're selling, but it should also be clear what the next step is for the customer to do and what happens after that step. So Can the customer easily grasp our value proposition? How good are we at explaining it? And this is a bit of a tricky thing because basically we are experts on our own websites. And there is this psychological principle of the curse of knowledge. And that basically states that you cannot unknow something that you already know. And what this means is that you might look at your offer, your page, and think many things are absolutely obvious. Yet for your customers, they are everything else but obvious. So make sure that you actually speak to that customer and speak on their level. So the basic principle here is do not make people think, and don't make them look further into the page if possible. Because most people won't. Most people are lazy, busy. They don't want to exert the effort. They have no engagement with you. So that's why we want to be clear. Nothing should be taking unnecessary effort if possible. All right, so that's clarity. Now, this is on the positive sides. This provides lifts. Now, this reduces lifts. Okay, so here we have distraction. And you could say that the opposite of clarity is distraction. But it's not quite the same thing. Clarity is more related to your value proposition, your headlines, so to say. And distraction can be all the elements that take focus away from that which you want to be clear. So let me share with you a page here that has a lot of distractions, and it will make this point instantly obvious to you. All right, an example with a lot of distractions here. You can see a lot of moving elements, many different colors. It's not really clear where the eye should focus on. Now, of course, this is just one example to like illustrate how bad design can be. But either way, you get the point. So you want a certain amount of simplicity, and especially simplicity around your main points. So make sure you are not taking the attention unnecessarily to somewhere where you don't want it to be. All right, so ask always, like, is there unnecessary stuff in here? Can we cut away something and still reach the result that we want to reach? All right, let's move on to anxiety. So anxiety is not a direct opposite of relevance, but it is kind of connected to that as well. So you should ask what are the common customer objections? So are buyers, for example, scared to shop here? Are they maybe afraid if they give their phone number, what is going to happen next? Is it clear? And like, are we really producing like unnecessary hurdles that we have to make the customer jump? Like, is the checkout process something that produces trust and security, a sense of security, and so on? So if there is a lot of friction somewhere, then we need to be able to reduce that friction as much as possible. So anxiety is really another form of friction, another word for friction. So you can think of it as anxiety or as friction. All right, so that's the 5 points here. Now you can notice here there's the urgency, and that is really the fuel to the fire. So the point of urgency is to get people to act now. And this is something that is a bit of a boost to all of these. But also notice that if the plane is not moving up, if this is not a fit, like the urgency won't do you any good. So the assumption is that you have taken care of the rest of the points first before you really start to hammer that urgency. And the urgency really won't fix a bad value proposition. If somebody doesn't want something, just making it urgent will not produce you great lists. And it is something that if these other points are handled well, it will produce you great results and make people take action. All right, so that was the list funnel by Wider Funnel. And hopefully you were able to take your own landing pages, e-commerce sites, whatever lead generation pages you have, and go over step by step on where exactly you are on these, and then maybe get a better idea of what you could do to fix it and where your strengths and weaknesses lie. And then you will be able to go and do productive steps proactively and make a better fit for your current traffic. All right, this was Samuel Larsen here, and I will produce videos like this a couple times a week at least. So make sure to subscribe for more videos so you don't miss out on all the knowledge I'm going to share with you. All right, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.